Jesus came to show us that he's the one. He came to show us that you don't need to look for another. Listen, you ain't gonna find happiness in an 8,000 square foot house. It'd be nice to have, but you ain't gonna find happiness there. You're not gonna find happiness walking down the aisle with somebody that you're gonna have somebody to kick it with, but you ain't gonna find happiness there. You're not gonna find happiness in your job. You're gonna find a little bit of satisfaction, but not happiness. You got to find that the stuff of this world will always fail you. But God will never let you down. I wanted to show you that he's the one. Verse 47 says, when he heard that it was Jesus of Nazareth, that's Bartimaeus, he did what? He did what? He heard and he cried. Tell your neighbor, he heard and he cried. One more time. He heard. Work it, Hawkins. He heard. He cried. Faith comes by hearing by the word of God. He had heard. Jesus been around 3 years in his ministry. Bartimaeus, blind, can't see, but he's the gossip of the town. Because if you sit by the roadside long enough, folk gonna start talking about what just happened. Bartimaeus is on the side of the road. Excuse me. Who is thou that thou speakest of? Jesus of Nazareth, man, just cast out a legion of demons. Year one. Excuse me. Who is this that thou speakest of? Man, Jesus just healed a woman of terminal fever. They didn't have Tylenol. He just healed her. She walking around right now. Year two. Year three. Excuse me. Who is this that thou speakest of? Man, Jesus just raised the boy out the coffin and gave him a new life. Bartimaeus is like, man, Jesus, I wonder how he'd look, but I cannot see. I wonder how he wears his beard, but I cannot see. Suddenly, there's a crowd in Jericho. He's like, this is an unfamiliar sound. Well, I know because I live, sit, and abide here. I know when I hear the dogs barking, that's old May's dog. I know when I hear the chicken crow, that's old Henry's chicken. I know when I hear the cows moo, that's old Maybell's cow. But this crowd was different. Folk was cheering and jeering, and he says, hold up, I heard about this man. He says, who is this? They said, it's Jesus of Nazareth. He said, hold up, Jesus. Don't you walk by me. I need to talk to you. Do I got anybody today that you have heard the message of the Lord? You have heard that he can raise you up. You have heard that he can lift up a bowed down head. You have heard that he can turn around a bad situation. And he comes by your address and you say, hold up. And he cried. He heard and he cried. Can I tell you all, it is absolutely illegal for you to hear of the goodness of God and to sit in church and say nothing about how good he's been to you. Do I got some folk today that can say, my God has been good to me? Do I got anybody here today that can say, my God has made a way for me? Do I got anybody today that can say, God, open up doors for me? Do I got about 2 people that can say, if it had not been for the Lord who was on my side, I don't know where I'd be if it wasn't for God. Why don't you give your neighbor a high five and just tell them it was God, it was God.